She watches over the world and smiles. She's endless love to give. For shining bright in her ancient eyes are all the lives she's lived.
We cut all these mangoes, prune them really hard and mulch the hell out of this area. Made a thick layer of mulch, like branches, leaves, twigs, everything chopped, and then planted it with all these tubers, yuccas and malanga and tequisque. Lots of euphorbias which are very resistant, like the yucca is a euphorbia, the chiquesquil, the chaya, just a very resistant family to compacted soils. Nitrogen fixers, you can see over there the dwarf poinciana, which is a great nitrogen fixer, and winged beans. It was full of winged beans. And then some crops, you have to obtain a yield. We had naranjilla patch over here and cotton still growing over there. And then some katuk and lemongrass and cranberry hibiscus.
But look, like even when the ground gets covered, it's just something about it. Like it just starts coming back in, the microorganisms and the soil starts coming back to life. Keep mulching here and keep mulching here. Like when we go in there and we clean up, we could do as a group a giant sheet mulch all along the edge. That's one thing you could do.
This is going to erode so bad, we have to catch all this soil that is going to run with the water. So we made several of these. It's a soil trap, it's silt trap. Where the water widens out and flattens out, so it slows down and deposits the soil. It's soil with great texture, great stump structure. So that worked. So you see how the vetiver here is planted in a hedge for mitigation of erosion control. Like if you have areas that are steep and they're prone to erosion because of whatever reason, a change in the water flow pattern or a deep pruning of fruit trees or other trees or removal of bush, you might want to mitigate the chance that you will have erosion and just plant it with vetiver and other erosion control plants. It does exactly the opposite than the big canal. The canal concentrates the water, it changes the water flow into a more destructive route rather than distribute it and soften the flow of the water. And the swale does exactly that. It distributes the water. The water goes into the swale is just slightly off contour. It drains the water very, very slowly into that direction. The water needs the circulation from surface to bottom. So this is draining the bottom of the pond over there. So I want some of the water to come out not from the surface like it does over here. So you want to have the drain pipe not just for draining the pond but also to regulate those. An earthwork is whichever change in the landscape that you're doing manually or with a machine that has the environmental impact that comes with shifting the Earth's surface. Earthworks allows you to work with the landscape in a way that you can actually determine how the water is going to flow through the landscape, and you can stop erosion from the beginning, from the source, by making beautiful swales all the way around and ponds, and you can work in a very creative way in the landscape. But obviously it has a downside, and the downside is that it has a huge impact. Really know what you're doing and really know where to put the limits and to stop, because the machine workers, they really don't care. They just want to finish their job and get paid, and they don't really care about the pond that you want to have there that will be beautiful maybe one day or not, and they just want to, you know, make it big, like the Tico way of looking at it. Almost with any operator, they will tell you, vamos a hacer un hueco, we're going to make a hole. You know, it's like, no, we're going to make a beautiful, productive pond, but whatever, you know. Earth movement creates serious damage, and if you don't manage correctly your machine, it's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's going to devastate the area where they're working, because they just can't maneuver so easily. They're big, heavy machine, and they need a lot of space to maneuver around. Number one rule when you're doing earth movement: never ever leave the operator working alone. I sit in their seat, like I sit on the machine when they're working and whisper in their ear constantly. They hate me, but in the end they like me because they learn something. It's a very small micro swell here and make it overflow in that direction in a very mild sheet flow. It really doesn't matter if these were not exactly 2 meters and that wouldn't be exactly in the middle and the whole thing would be like awkwardly put together, it would still work. That's the most amazing thing about it. So we measure the center of it, right? And we put it underneath one of the legs. And then we look where the mark is. This is how we calibrate it.
Sorry.
The amazing thing is that same exact system can work for a 100 square meter pond or for a 1,000 square meter pond. Exactly the same overflow system that you see here. The water will slowly, you see how slowly they're coming out?
Yeah.
It's a simple, slow, cheap solution and silent. This is a native camellia. It looks like a grass, it's not a grass family, but... So in the end of the day you can just hang out, chill in the garden, under the banana tree and the mango flowering, and just wait for the fruit to ripen.